Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. FTX plea deal, but for who? We'll tell you. And by the way, SEC now says FTT, that token is a security. Oh, there's fallout for that, ladies and gentlemen. We got Brad Garlinghouse in the news. FTX responsible for half of USD Tether's market cap. I ask one more time, where'd the money go? USTreasury, Nellie Liang, no pressure for a CBDC? Maybe that's how we know one's coming. And we got Chamath Palihapitiya from Facebook, guru macro investor, who tells us 150 men rule this world we're living in. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter for exclusive content. Right now, $844 billion market cap for cryptocurrency. We're off by 0.3%. Good morning, everybody. Bitcoin, 16,800 plus, off by 5.7% on the 7-day. Ethereum is 12.13 and 84 cents, and it's off by 7.2 on the 7-day. Market cap for Tether, they say, is 66.2 billion. I got some stuff to look at today, may say different. XRP is 34 cents. We're off by 10.4%. Good morning. Right now, linked to running the special, ladies and gentlemen. End of year, closing out, final days of 2022. Ripple, Uphold, Polysign, and Link2 are available on the platform at discounted prices. Come on in. All you got to do is go click the link underneath this video. Do not mess around. The end of the year is closing out. If you want to get something and you want to get the special, you got to be an accredited investor. And if you're not sure if you are or not, reach out to them and find out. The requirements in each country are very, very different. Some countries have no requirements. You may not know that. Make sure you pick up the phone, reach out, send an email. Don't mess around. The deals are amazing and the products are too. Right here, Central Bank of Ireland has issued a VASP, which is a virtual asset service provider license, to the crypto exchange Coinbase. The license will cover two Coinbase subsidiaries, Coinbase Europe Limited and Coinbase Custody International Limited. Well, that just reminded me of the recent news we found out back in November when crypto startup Ripple, which is not so new as a startup, is seeking a license in Ireland themselves to drive European expansion across all those jurisdictions. So we will watch out for what is coming there, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for this. And we talked about it. Alameda's Caroline Ellison escapes potential 110-year prison term via plea deal. I knew it wasn't going to take long, boy. Well, once they find out video games ain't in jail, boy, that's it. That's something. I'll tell you what you want to know. Well, Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend held no wrath like a woman scorned, buddy. Write it down. And the co-founder, that's coming from somebody who's been married 3 times. I think I'm somewhat of an expert. I can speak on it, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, co-founder of FTX have each pleaded guilty to criminal charges and are cooperating with prosecutors. According to U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said on Wednesday, Caroline Ellison, CEO of Alameda Research, Bankman-Fried's privately controlled hedge fund, and Gary Wang as well, co-founder of FTX, pleaded guilty earlier this week. According to newly unsealed court documents, Ellison pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers of FTX, wire fraud on customers of FTX, conspiracy to commit wire fraud on lenders of Alameda Research, and wire fraud on lenders of Alameda Research, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering, according to the court documents. Together, 7 counts carry a maximum sentence of 110 years in prison. Meanwhile, Gary Wang pleaded guilty to 4 counts: conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers of FTX, wire fraud on customers of FTX, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, and conspiracy to commit securities fraud. The court document stated he faces up to 50 years. Oh, the plot thickens. You know, let us not forget that it's very, very real human beings and their hard-earned money that they trusted these people and the platform, and look what they did to them. It's not a joke. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission labeled FTX exchange token FTT as a security. This is putting other exchange tokens in the spotlight, and you better believe it, like Binance's BNB. You think this is an accident? How long have we been talking about the idea of what's going on with the digital dollar and the USD tether and what have you? Meanwhile, Brad Garlinghouse tells us, let's pull back a little bit here. Shout out to Brad Garlinghouse. The world is appropriately outraged by SBF and FTX's fraud. But when Wells Fargo mismanages, and by the way, the number is $4 billion in customer spun as well, it's barely a blip on the radar. Food for thought. It sure is. Brad Garlinghouse, shout out to you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody there. This is the article that talks about FTX's FTT token labeled as a security and SEC complaint. Now, there's a couple things. One, we need to understand what that means toward the other exchanges that have a token. Watch out. They're pretty sure they just sent a shot across the bow that says you have a security token if you have a token for your platform. Hello, Binance. Now, here's the other part to that. How much of this made up out of thin air FTT token was passed out and passed around to all the different entities that are now holding an unregistered security, and they participated in transactions of an unregistered security? And then there's this little gem.
Well, sure. So Alameda is Tether's biggest client. That's according to reporting from Protos from last year. Supposedly, Alameda purchased, I believe, $36.7 billion worth of tethers. Given Alameda FTX's insolvency, I think one question might be, where'd the money come from?
Yeah, well, that is a great question. 36.7 billion. Tether's market cap shows 66.2. Let's just call it half. It's really a little more than half. Where'd the money come from? Where's the money now? Where's the money now? Right? I'm showing you this not to be an alarmist. I'm showing you this because we're about to hear from the United States Treasury, Nellie Liang, on the CBDC front for the United States digital dollar. Don't go nowhere. This was back in November when CoinDesk were questioning USD Tether people about the reserves and how they handled their business. Take a listen to this.
Who are you redeeming it from? Are you redeeming it from Tether or Bitfinex?
It's the Tether organization is who we're talking to.
Are you using U.S.-based banks such as Citibank when you wire to receive the Tether? Are you sending it through U.S. banks, or are you using anything other than Deltec?
And by the way, just to be clear, for clarity, this is the gentleman from Alameda Research in the bottom right who's now looking up and to the right thinking, I really don't like where any of these questions are going.
Like the banks that we're using or the banks that they're using?
Either or. I mean, are you using non-U.S. banks or are you using U.S. banks to purchase Tether?
Sorry, I'm not sure I'm following your question.
It isn't that he's not following the question. He doesn't want to answer it.
Are you using...
It'll unlock here in a second.
Oh, no. Lawrence has gone frozen on... Oh, wait. Be back.
You say you wire money to Tether, right? To receive Tether. You wire dollars.
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
Okay. Are you using U.S. banks such as Citibank? Are you using... What bank are you using to wire the money to Tether?
I'm not... Alameda's not going to disclose the bank that it's using.
Everything's fine, right? Well, everything wasn't fine. And I'm telling you, It is very hard for me to believe, especially knowing that top executive United States Treasury Department Nellie Liang has said that the federal government is under no pressure to launch its central bank issued digital currency known as the CBDC, as we all know, the digital dollar. Not in a hurry, anyone. So it doesn't matter, Nellie Liang, Janet Yellen, that USD Tether is out here selling the only product that the Federal Reserve has ever had, which is a dollar. You're not being completely honest, are you? And why would you? They never are. She says here, Nellie Liang, Undersecretary to the Treasury, also thing to say about the potential of digital dollar defending the dollar as a reserve currency. This is what she says, and this I take issue with completely. She said that the place of the U.S. dollar as a global leader does not come from specific technology, she said. Well, that part she's right, because it's a paper dollar. It comes from our governance system, the rules that govern our financial markets, our rule of law, and the safety and soundness of our institutions. Well, that much I get, but this much I urge you to understand. If you want your governance system to remain strong and govern and the rules that govern our financial markets to be strong, and you want our financial markets to be sound, well, you better start dealing with this then, hadn't you? Let's talk about the real fallout of Saudi Arabia agreeing to start to shift and pivot away from the petrodollar, which is another area of great confidence for the world to use U.S. dollars. Listen to this quick clip, but I didn't play this clip the other day. We talked about it, but I didn't play it. Listen.
Telling Arab leaders on Friday that he wants to buy oil and gas with the Chinese yuan instead of the U.S. dollar, furthering his goal to internationalize the Chinese currency and replace the dollar as the reserve currency of the world.
President Xi met with the regional leaders of the entire Middle East and North Africa, some 20-something nations. This is a slight paradigm shift that's beginning to take place here, and it has strategic significance that a lot of the media is missing. It wasn't just a meeting with Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. He hosted this regional summit, something similar that President Trump did in 2017 when he met with the regional leaders being hosted by Mohammed bin Salman. So we've come a long way since July of 2017 because this relationship between the United States and the Arab world is tarnished. I have one recommendation here for the administration. Work with the incoming Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who wants to strengthen and expand the Abraham Accords. That means relationship with Arabs and Israelis. Work with him and have him help you renew the relationship with the Arabs.
And there you have it. Now, there is somebody giving you the direct line of what's going on. This thing can get out of hand very quickly, is what he's talking about. And we know from this quick video, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I want to play you a portion of this for you to know that the central banking system, the central bank of central banks, and this is Catherine Austin Fitts, who is a former, I think it was Bush administration official or worked for the administration in some facet or another. Listen to what she says here very quickly.
There are two videos I really want your audience to watch. One is a 56-second video of the BIS General Manager Augustine Carstens in October 2020 explaining that with CBDC, they will have central control to set the rules and enforce them centrally.
Now, before he speaks, and I've played this exact clip here where he talks about having that complete control. Remember, Nellie Liang said, we're in no rush. We're in no rush. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is agreeing to buy oil with the Chinese yuan through the Shanghai Exchange. That is the first time ever since the Petro agreement. Period. And then we got the BIS, Augustine Carstens, talking about the benefits of being able to control every single aspect of a central bank digital currency.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those
You hear what he's saying, right? And we're going to have the technology to enforce that. We're going to know who's got $100 bill or $1,000 bill or a $1 bill. That's what the hell we want to know. You think they're going to give that up? You think they're going to pass the chance for that? That's why it's important to get wealthy. And right here, if you ever wanted to hear it the way I believe it runs, I have said it many times. There is a small group of people that run this world, and it isn't the presidents and politicians. They have power, but they do what they're told, or they won't be able to stay. That's the truth. Don't believe it. It's still true.
I'm thinking very...
And by the way, this is Chamath Palihapitiya from Facebook, huge investor. Listen to what he breaks down very quickly here.
I'm thinking very... there's a deep connection between money as an instrument of change and what you're doing now at Social Capital.
Look, here's the thing. There's about 150 people that run the world. Anybody who wants to go into politics, they're all fucking puppets, okay? There are 150, and they're all men, that run the world, period, full stop. They control most of the important assets. They control the money flows. And these are not the tech entrepreneurs. Now, they are going to get rolled over the next 5 to 10 years by the people that are really underneath pulling the strings. And when you get behind the curtain and see how that world works, what you realize is it is unfairly set up for them and their progeny.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or lump it, I believe that is the truth. I really do. It's unfortunate, but I believe the older you get, the more you really realize it. And then people call you crazy or a conspiracy theorist because they don't want to acknowledge that whatever filters they put inside of their mind aren't really real. The Digital Dollar Project, this is a reminder from back in September, launches CBDC sandbox with digital asset and Ripple and others. So when I start thinking about that 150 people that rule the world, somebody let Ripple sit at the table. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It is just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.